President Trump says the financial system is decades out of date and crypto fixes it. And you're starting to see that really becoming a reality. A lot of people in the traditional financial world are obviously starting to realize that, and especially with the clarity that we're seeing, the bill being passed on Friday really opens, the eyes of these bigger players to, really start looking into the blockchain technology. And with the ISO standard going live, of course, this gives banks the chance to kind of start looking into different type of blockchains, different types of crypto platforms that could help them revolutionize the way we do finance on a day-to-day basis. And with this, we're seeing that pivot, that flip the switch event really taking place. It's bigger than a lot of people realize. And with this regulatory clarity coming towards the crypto industry also means that there's going to be trillions of dollars that was never able to flow into the crypto markets finally able to flow into the markets. And we're seeing things really starting to heat up faster than we realize. But welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP holders. Appreciate you guys as always. You guys are amazing. Looking across the board as we are going into Monday morning, we're still seeing tremendous amount of green. XRP up 3.4% with the price currently sitting at $3.57. Also up 2.1% in Bitcoin compared. Now, if you're looking at the valuation, $211.2 billion. Absolutely madness here, guys, in the 24-hour trading volume at about $8.6 billion, literally through the roof. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So US spot Ethereum ETF saw over $2.1 billion inflows last week, marking its largest weekly inflow since pretty much going live. And that really tells you that we need to be paying attention to this. This is not something we need to be taking slightly, because if you've been focusing on my channel over the course of the last month and a half, I was focusing on the inflow numbers on Ethereum specifically. And I'm sure if you watch the channel regularly, you guys know when I indicated that. And that really shows you, when you start seeing Ethereum being accumulated quite heavily, especially from bigger players, that obviously means that these guys are anticipating Ethereum to make a move, and that's exactly what has happened with ETH. I want you guys to understand how much Ethereum is up over the last 1 week alone. We're looking at a 25.2% increase. When you put that into perspective, that is quite a large move for the second largest coin in the crypto space. And of course, on the monthly time frame, we're looking at an increase of about 56.4%. So definitely outpacing Bitcoin by quite a big margin. But we need to understand, BTC has been on an absolute tear over the course of the last, a few years. So Bitcoin has been on this upward trajectory, but ETH has been going crazy, which obviously has taken the altcoin market up with it as well. But XRP surpasses Shell in market cap. So that is a big switch. Like, wow. When you make that comparison, you can really understand how far XRP native token has come. And this, if you were to tell anyone, I would just even suggest late last year in December on Christmas, if you were having dinner with your family and they understood XRP and you've been in this space for quite some time, obviously if they had done their due diligence research and really believed in it, they would have obviously been like, you know what, this is a possibility. But if you just told a regular crypto Joe that does still have experience in this crypto space, most people would have laughed at the fact that the price of XRP could reach these valuations. And it's a reality right now. And with the regulatory clarity, projects that are building over the past decade plus are the ones that are going to thrive. And we're really starting to see that happening, where smart money is really shifting towards. But look at what Zoom says. XRP has had 4 consecutive daily closes above all-time high, and last night had its highest weekly close ever. And I know a lot of people always confuse this, talking about what about the $3.87. Like I said, that's the unofficial all-time high. The official all-time high, which was recorded on majority of the exchanges, was at that level that we've spoken to you guys about. If you want to put that into perspective, we're looking at about a $3.40 ish for the price of XRP. But if a lot of people still want to focus on the 387, I think it's inevitable that we're going to reach that this week based off of the way things are looking. Of course, we're going to pull out the charts and kind of go over that. But remember, Ripple was selected to serve on the IMF's high-level advisory group on fintech, and now you're starting to realize how ahead of a time Ripple really was. And while a lot of people weren't paying attention, because let's face it, regulatory clarity wasn't really in this crypto space, a lot of people were skeptical. But obviously the ones that were doing the due diligence research are the ones that really start to kind of pay attention to these big things now. Like it was literally right in front of us at that point. But RLUSD, as stable coins take over, you can see RLUSD institutional alignment, heavily regulated, high quality reserves, regular audits. USDT, obviously that's not what USDT has, hence you do tend to see quite a bit of red flags that arise. But according to Stablecoin Safety Matrix from Anchorage Digital, the first federally chartered digital asset bank in the U.S., that RLUSD obviously is regulatory approved. And as I've stated to you guys before, from the beginning, this is where RLUSD takes a huge chunk of the stablecoin market, and I think it was done perfectly. Timing was perfect for Ripple to really launch their own stablecoin. But let's take a look at the prices. If you're looking at the dominance, guys, you guys know it's not a crypto ZX update unless we don't talk about the dominance, and dominance is continuing to show significant weakness, which is what you want to see happening. This is exactly what you want to see happening. If we drop below this, we could go down to 60.2%, a level we haven't seen since March of this year. And that would be quite something for altcoins. And I am projecting XRP to reach an all-time high this week, because look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin did see a push towards the upside, sitting at $119,277. And usually when you do see Bitcoin making a move, you do tend to see dominance pick up a little bit, but that's exactly the opposite. You're still seeing the dominance pulling down, and of course that's giving altcoins a big push. Now I want you guys to take a look at that price of XRP on an hourly perspective. That's what I want you guys to focus on. The way this has accumulated, the way at the previous all-time high we got supported, you can really see this for yourself. The 23.6 support line really played out for us, and we are starting to break out. And I think in order for us to reach this yearly high, we're only about a 2.65% move. Even an all-time high, if you want to put that into perspective, like an unofficial all-time high to be reached, for a lot of people's peace of mind, we're looking at about only an 8% increase. That could even end up happening today if Bitcoin pushes up to 120,000, dominance falls below this range to retest to 60%. I think we could actually see an all-time high today for XRP, and that's realistically speaking. Obviously, time is going to tell. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.